My beloved brothers and sisters, imagine standing alone before the most powerful ruler on earth, tasked with delivering a message that could change the course of history. Fear grips your heart, doubt clouds your mind, yet a single command from Allah gives you the strength to face the impossible. This was the journey of Musa alayhi salam, and in his story lies lessons that can transform your life today. When we open Surah Taha and reflect on the story of Musa alayhi salam, one of the first lessons that strikes the heart is the incredible power of Allah's guidance. Musa alayhi salam was not a man who lived a life free of challenges or mistakes. In fact, his life was marked by difficulty from the very beginning, being placed in a basket as an infant and set afloat on the Nile, raised in the house of Pharaoh, and later forced to flee Egypt after an incident that made him a fugitive. And yet, through all of these trials, we see how Allah's hand was guiding him, shaping him, and preparing him for the mission that awaited him. This reminds us that even when life feels uncertain, even when we do not understand the purpose of what is happening, Allah's guidance is quietly at work, leading us towards something greater than we could imagine. When Musa alayhi salam was traveling with his family in the desert, he saw a fire in the distance and approached it, hoping to bring warmth or direction. Instead, what he found there was the turning point of his life. Allah called out to him directly, honored him with prophethood, and entrusted him with a mission that would change history. This is the power of Allah's guidance. It comes at the time you least expect it, in the place you never imagined, and in a way that completely transforms your path. For Musa alayhi salam, that fire was not just a source of warmth. It was the light of divine guidance. Often in our own lives we feel lost, unsure of what direction to take, or burdened by the weight of our past. But the story of Musa alayhi salam teaches us that Allah's guidance reaches us no matter where we are. You could be in the desert of despair, the wilderness of fear, or the darkness of regret, and Allah can still call you, uplift you, and give your life purpose. The key is to remain connected to Him, to trust His plan, and to understand that even the struggles you face are part of the preparation for something greater. Musa alayhi salam was afraid. He felt unworthy. He worried about his speech and his ability to fulfill such a huge mission. But Allah reminded him, I am with you hearing and seeing. What greater assurance can a servant have than knowing that Allah is with him at every step? And this is the same assurance for us today. No matter the obstacles, no matter the weaknesses we carry, when Allah guides us, His help surrounds us. His knowledge of our struggles is complete, and His power to assist us is unmatched. When we reflect on the moment Allah commanded Musa alayhi salam to go to Pharaoh, one of the most powerful lessons we find is how faith enables a person to face fear. Imagine standing in Musa alayhi salam place. Pharaoh was not just a tyrant, he was the most arrogant and oppressive ruler of his time. Someone who claimed lordship over people, who killed without hesitation, and who enslaved an entire nation. Musa alayhi salam had once lived in his palace, but now he was commanded to return to him with the message of truth. Naturally, Musa alayhi salam felt afraid. He knew Pharaoh's power, he remembered the past, and he felt the weight of the task on his shoulders. Yet in that moment of fear, Allah reminded him that His divine presence and support would always be with him. That reassurance is what turned fear into faith and doubt into courage. This is a lesson that resonates with us deeply. Fear is something we all experience. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of standing up for what is right when others mock us or oppose us. Musa alayhi salam teaches us that faith is not the absence of fear, but the strength to move forward despite it. When Allah instructed him to confront Pharaoh, Musa alayhi salam did not deny his feelings. He admitted his fear and he turned to Allah for help. That is the key. The difference between someone who is paralyzed by fear and someone who overcomes it lies in where they place their trust. When you rely on yourself, fear can overwhelm you. But when you rely on Allah, fear becomes a reminder of your need for Him, and through Him you find strength. The story of Musa alayhi salam confrontation with Pharaoh is more than history. It is a living example for anyone struggling with challenges in their own life. Perhaps you fear speaking the truth in a world filled with deception. Perhaps you fear walking away from sin because you worry about what people will say. Perhaps you fear starting anew after mistakes. Whatever the fear, the answer lies in faith. Allah's words to Musa alayhi salam, do not fear. I am with you both hearing and seeing, are a timeless reminder to every believer that we are never alone when we stand for what is right. And so faith does not erase the existence of fear, it transforms it. It turns fear into a stepping stone rather than a wall. It teaches us that courage is not about never feeling afraid, but about trusting Allah enough to move forward anyway. Just as Musa alayhi salam stood before Pharaoh with nothing but a staff in his hand and faith in his heart, so too can we face the pharaohs of our own lives when we believe Allah is with us. This is why the second essential lesson is so profound. Faith is what allows us to face fear, to rise above it, and to act with conviction even when everything around us seems impossible. When we look at the story of Musa alayhi salam in Surah Taha, one of the most moving parts is the dua he makes before carrying out the mission Allah gave him. He does not rush forward with arrogance, thinking he can handle it all on his own. Instead, he stops and turns to Allah in complete humility. His words are simple yet powerful. My Lord, expand my chest, ease my task for me, untie the knot from my tongue so that they may understand my speech. This supplication captures the heart of reliance upon Allah, and it shows us the importance of asking Him for help before stepping into any challenge. Think about it. Musa alayhi salam was chosen as a prophet, honored by Allah Himself, yet he still felt his limitations. He acknowledged his fear, his difficulty in speech, and the weight of the task ahead. And what did he do with those feelings? He did not allow them to defeat him. He transformed them into dua. That is the real lesson for us. When we feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or unworthy, the first thing we must do is turn to Allah with sincerity, because it is only through His help that our hearts find strength and our efforts gain success. This dua also teaches us something very beautiful about priorities. Musa alayhi salam did not ask first for strength in his limbs, wealth in his hands, or an army at his side. Instead, he asked for clarity of heart and clarity of speech. He asked for his chest to be expanded with confidence and for his words to reach the hearts of those who would hear him. What does that mean for us? It means that when we are trying to do something meaningful, whether it is speaking the truth, sharing knowledge, or even making personal changes, the real success lies not in external power, but in internal clarity and sincerity. It lies in words that flow from the heart, because words from the heart reach the heart. Every one of us faces moments where we need to be heard, whether it's explaining something to our families, speaking up in difficult situations, or even asking forgiveness from someone we've wronged. In those moments, the lesson of Musa alayhi salam dua is a treasure for us. Before you speak, ask Allah to guide your words. Before you act, ask Him to ease your task. Before you confront a challenge, ask Him to expand your chest with courage. That reliance not only strengthens you, but also places barakah in your efforts, turning something small into something impactful. When Musa alayhi salam stood before Pharaoh, Allah gave him a simple staff in his hand and commanded him to throw it down. To the human eye, it was nothing more than a stick, ordinary and lifeless. But the moment it touched the ground, by the command of Allah, it transformed into a living serpent that moved with power. That single miracle carried with it a profound lesson that extends far beyond the confrontation between Musa alayhi salam and Pharaoh. It is a lesson about reliance on Allah alone and about understanding that true strength does not lie in what you hold, but in who empowers it. Musa alayhi salam himself had doubts about the staff. When Allah asked him what was in his right hand, Musa alayhi salam answered simply, describing it as a stick he used to lean on and to guide his flock. It was ordinary to him, just a tool of daily use. But Allah showed him that what we see as insignificant can become extraordinary when it is placed in his hands. The staff became a sign, a symbol that reminded Musa alayhi salam and everyone who witnessed it that human beings have no power in themselves. We are only vessels, and our strength, our skills, and our resources mean nothing without Allah's will. This lesson is incredibly relevant to our lives. Often we measure ourselves by what we possess, our talents, our wealth, our networks, our status. We look at our abilities and conclude what we can and cannot achieve. But the story of Musa alayhi salam teaches us that it is not the staff, not the tool, not the talent that holds power. It is Allah who grants it effectiveness. He can take what is ordinary and turn it into something miraculous. This should fill our hearts with humility, reminding us not to rely on ourselves. And at the same time, it should fill us with confidence, knowing that when we place our trust in Allah, even the simplest means can become powerful. When Musa alayhi salam threw down the staff, Pharaoh and his people were stunned. Later, when Pharaoh's magicians tried to challenge him, they threw down ropes and sticks that appeared to be serpents. But Allah commanded Musa alayhi salam not to fear. His staff, by Allah's power, swallowed up their illusions, proving once again that truth, backed by Allah, will always defeat falsehood, no matter how convincing falsehood might appear. This scene is more than history. It is a living reminder that no matter how intimidating the forces of deception, oppression, or arrogance may seem, when you rely on Allah, you are never overpowered. Reliance on Allah does not mean abandoning effort. Musa alayhi salam still carried the staff. He still faced Pharaoh. He still spoke the words Allah commanded. But the outcome was never in his hands. The miracle came only when he acted in obedience and placed his trust in Allah's command. That balance between effort and trust is what reliance truly means. We do what we can with the resources given to us, but we know the results belong only to Allah. When Musa alayhi salam stood in front of Pharaoh's magicians, it was not just a contest of tricks or displays of power. It was the eternal struggle between truth and falsehood. The magicians threw their ropes and sticks, and by their deception and the whispers of shaitan, the eyes of the people were made to believe they were serpents. For a moment it looked as if falsehood had the upper hand and fear crept into Musa's alayhi salam heart. But Allah reminded him not to fear, for the truth is always stronger. With one command, Musa alayhi salam cast his staff, and by Allah's will it became a real serpent, swallowing all the illusions of the magicians. That moment was a turning point, not only for Musa alayhi salam, but for the magicians themselves, who immediately recognized that this was not the work of any human being. They fell into prostration, declaring their belief in the Lord of Musa alayhi salam and Harun. Alayhi salam, this scene is powerful because it reflects what happens in our own lives. Falsehood often appears glamorous, convincing, and overwhelming. Lies are dressed up as truths, wrong is painted as right, and many people fall for the illusions. Just like the magician's ropes, the world today is full of deceptions that capture the eyes and hearts of people. But the story of Musa alayhi salam shows us that truth does not need to be loud. It does not need to be complicated, and it does not need numbers to support it. Truth, even if it looks small and simple, carries a divine strength that falsehood can never match. What is even more remarkable is the reaction of the magicians. These were men brought in to defeat Musa alayhi salam, men who had spent their lives perfecting the art of illusion. And yet the moment they saw the reality of Allah's miracle, they knew. They could tell the difference between trickery and truth, and they submitted immediately. This is another lesson for us, that hearts which are sincere will always recognize the truth when it is clear. No matter how long someone has lived in falsehood, no matter how deeply they were involved in sin, once they see the truth with humility, it has the power to transform them completely. It also teaches us that the struggle between truth and falsehood is not about who seems stronger in numbers or louder in voice. It is about sincerity, patience, and trust in Allah. Falsehood can dominate for a time, but it can never last. Allah says in the Quran that falsehood is like foam that vanishes while truth remains and benefits the people. Just like Musa's alayhi salam staff swallowed the illusions, truth always swallows falsehood, no matter how intimidating it may appear at first glance. One of the most remarkable lessons from the story of Musa alayhi salam is the importance of patience and perseverance in calling others to the truth. When Allah commanded Musa alayhi salam to go to Pharaoh, he was stepping into a world of oppression, arrogance, and cruelty. Pharaoh was not only powerful, but he was also stubborn and blind to the truth. Convincing such a ruler to accept Allah's message was never going to be easy. And yet Musa alayhi salam did not give up, he did not lose hope, and he did not turn back. This teaches us that true dawah, the act of calling others to Allah, is never instantaneous. It requires endurance, resilience, and a steadfast heart. In our own lives, we often expect change to happen quickly. We try to correct wrongs, share the truth, or guide others, and when results do not come immediately, we grow frustrated. The story of Musa alayhi salam reminds us that meaningful transformation takes time. Pharaoh did not change overnight. The magicians did not immediately embrace faith. Yet Allah's plan unfolded gradually, step by step, through Musa alayhi salam patience and trust. Every action, every word, and every effort Musa alayhi salam made was part of a larger design that only Allah could orchestrate. This is a lesson for all of us. Persistence in the path of truth, even when progress seems slow, is a sign of faith. Musa alayhi salam patience also teaches us humility. He could not rely on his own abilities or on the reaction of the people around him. He understood that guidance ultimately comes from Allah. His task was to deliver the message sincerely and with courage, leaving the outcomes in Allah's hands. This is a profound reminder for anyone involved in guiding others, whether through words, example, or actions. We may plant seeds, but it is Allah who nurtures them and causes them to grow. The responsibility to be patient and steadfast lies with us, while the results belong entirely to Him. Another aspect of perseverance shown by Musa alayhi salam is the courage to continue despite repeated challenges and hostility. He faced ridicule, threats, and immense danger, yet he never allowed fear to deter him from fulfilling his mission. This teaches us that when we encounter opposition in the path of righteousness, whether criticism, mockery, or hardship, we must remain patient and trust that every trial is part of a divine plan. Patience in such moments strengthens the heart, refines character, and increases reliance on Allah. The final lesson is that perseverance in truth brings ultimate success. Though Pharaoh was arrogant and oppressive, and though the journey was filled with trials, Musa alayhi salam's steadfastness and trust in Allah led to the triumph of truth over falsehood. It was not Musa alayhi salam's strength alone, but his unwavering faith and patience combined with Allah's support that led to the desired outcome. So the sixth essential lesson is clear. Calling to truth requires patience, perseverance, and complete reliance on Allah. Those who remain steadfast in the face of trials will witness the power of Allah's plan unfold and will be rewarded for their resilience.